If you are looking for information on DJ equipment or PA equipment, please do look at the uploads on my channel. Please do like and subscribe, as there just might be some valuable information there just for you. On initial purchase, there was that excitement that you get when you buy a new product. Living with it, setting it up and taking it from gig to gig is the ultimate test. And that's when you really learn and understand and realize how things are different from how they used to be. And that was sort of the time when I realized that the Pro32 was no longer going to be my go-to PA. I didn't just buy one, realize it was so bad, so I bought another. I bought two because I wanted to run stereo. I really did think that there was going to be something extra special in this PA. However, where do I start with this one? This product is for performing singer-songwriters, DJs, bands, and most people that will buy this, I think, have owned an L1 in the past and wish to upgrade. Before this, I purchased the Pro 16. I've owned the Pro 32 for 7 months now. I bought it during the lockdown over here, and when I was using it, it was my daily use PA home system. Until when things started opening up and events took place, that's when I managed to really get going, use it, and see how it bears up to events, etc. Things haven't been opened up very long here, and events haven't been able to take place. But since they have, I've used this PA for 11 weddings only. I have 2 of these. This used to be my go-to PA. I have had other events, but I have used other PA systems that I own for those. I got some work in a venue. I've been there before, done a few jobs there before, and I got another job. In fact, 2 more jobs. And I got another venue that I go to, and I got some corporate work there. Now, one of the venues is similar to this. Don't laugh. It's deceiving. It looks a lot lower than it is. And the other venue was a basement in a bar. Nice big area where they hold events. And the ceilings in this venue and the other venue are slightly lower than the maximum column height of the Pro 32. Now, the Pro 8 and the Pro 16 are height adjustable, yet the most advanced and the tallest is not. Now, this is work. So many events haven't taken place in over a year, and hospitality has been struck down, just like entertainment. This is potential earnings. A lot of these Tudor style venues and other venues with a limited height exist. And if this was my only PA, I'd be stumped. In this scenario, the Pro 32 is absolutely useless to me. What am I going to do? Lean it on its side? Hire another PA and slash my profits when I've just dropped $3,000 on a brand new PA that I can't even adjust the height on? Flagship model not being height adjustable. If that was my only PA, I would have refused work, lost a lot of money. I'd be furious. Nobody likes to turn down work, and had this been my only PA, that would have been the case. Why 32 drivers? I set down one of my RCFs on the floor, and there are 10 tweeters that are the height of one of those 15-inch cabinets. What performer or DJ is going to put tweeters on the floor? Tweeters on the floor, where is the gain? Have you ever seen performers or DJs putting their speakers on the floor and they're all tweeters? I've always known that you raise your tweeters high up and your subs are towards the ground. Your subs go on the floor, but you wouldn't put tweeters on the floor. There's 10 drivers that are the same height as a 15-inch cabinet. What is the point in that? Total waste. Just a gimmick. I argued this from the beginning, but I wanted to be proved wrong. Could have done with some high performance horn tweeters somewhere in the top part of the column, and get rid of those 10 tweeters that are on the floor. Total waste. For $3,000, that subcover. What's that? What has happened there? I spend $3,000 on a PA. I get a padded cover for the column. I get a padded cover for the bass and I get a slip cover for the sub. I don't get it. Where is the protection in a slip cover? Just for dust? You could say the most vulnerable part of your PA, the heaviest part of the PA that you're most likely to struggle with and maybe even knock somewhere while you're carrying it. And you're going to give me a slip cover. Everything else has a padded cover, but the sub, a slip cover, not a padded cover. That's cheap. I've just paid $3,000 and no protection for the heaviest part that I'm likely to knock. Totally don't understand that one either. I've just realised they don't give you a padded cover because they want you to buy the rolling case cover for the Sub 2, which is an extra $300, like you haven't spent enough money already. Clever marketing, good for the company's profits, but not for the consumer. Sound, mismatch. I think the Sub 2 is a mismatch. I think it's a mismatch for the Pro32 column. It just doesn't sound right. Something is missing. From the off, this PA is very mid-heavy and very extreme low frequency heavy. Trying to adjust it, just can't seem to get things right. Cut them back, but things just still don't sound right. I've tried all the presets, I've tried all the mix app presets, but I want that Bose sound. Where is that Bose sound? It just sounds off. Maybe the Sub 1 is the answer with this column. When I first purchased this was my home PA because of the lockdown. Yes, I was impressed. First time Bose L1 PA owner, but I could only get it to low to medium volume levels. When things started opening up and I took it to events, I just couldn't get it sounding right. I just couldn't hear all that I wanted to hear. I want to hear everything, all the frequencies, nice. All I can hear is mids. Loads of mids from that column and a rumbly bass from the sub. Where's that mid punch and low end kick? Where's the mid low frequencies? I don't hear them. Where's the mid bass? I don't hear it. And where's the highs or the extreme highs? Total absence. So there's a big space there and there's a space with the low end. Where is it? It's not there. They're absent. And you can't create or adjust what you don't have. With the low frequencies, they're there that give it that rumble, but with the higher, the slightly higher low frequencies that give it the kick of the low end, absolutely no punch. So with this crystal clear, it's just the mids. That's no surprise. It's got 32 drivers doing that. And obviously they give you a bit of low end because of course everybody loves bass. Listening to the PA, I just cannot hear 3000. I'd love to tell you it sounds fantastic. Just mids and extreme lows. I know I have other PAs that aren't perfect, but they don't cost $3,000. I purchased a really cheap PA some time back. It's not only really cheap, it's really good. So I bought two in the end. It is internally battery powered and it can also be operated by the mains power. Game changer. Ceremonies, outdoor events, or just think totally wireless once it's charged. From one source, be it a smartphone or my MacBook, I can through Bluetooth transmit a signal that can be picked up by both of these PAs independently, and I can play audio through both of these units independently. They both play at the same time from one source. The most advanced L1 Pro has got all the mix apps and all the connect apps, but it cannot do the same thing. I cannot transmit one signal via Bluetooth to both of the Pro32s simultaneously. The Bose Pro32, the most advanced L1, using the Mix app, using the Connect app, using all the Bose apps, cannot do the same thing. I've tried very hard. I even uploaded the question in my channel saying that I cannot simultaneously play both of these PAs at the same time through a Bluetooth audio signal. Can't be done. Believe me, I have tried. Such a simple thing which one of my cheapest PAs can do. And I mean it's really cheap. I'm not expecting to run paid work this way. I just want to run Bluetooth to both simultaneously so that they can play audio from one source. I'm amazed that this cannot be done. That sub. I cannot turn the sub all the way up. It just does not work. It sounds terrible. Every other sub I own, I can turn up and up and up and max out, and it sounds better and better and better. With this sub, I can't turn it up all the way. It just blubs when it's on max. It sounds terrible. It doesn't work. I can't max the sub out. I have to keep it at about 10, 11 o'clock. Turn it up anymore, it outruns the column and sounds dreadful. Things just don't sound right. You just get a drowny, muddy, boomy bass, which is no good. I want bass that's worth 3,000 in this PA. I have other PAs that do an absolutely great job. I mean, this PA is 3,000. It should do an even greater job, surely. My other PAs are 3-channel. I bought those 3-channel PAs over 4 to 5 years ago. This is brand new, most advanced, but yet just 3 channels. I know DJs don't want a lot of inputs, but wouldn't it be nice if you could even brag about having loads of inputs? Or you could have a couple of vocalists plug into your PA, or a couple of performers plug in their instruments to your PA. It's expandable. You can use this. Bands can use this. Performers can use this. Things like that. Those other PAs that have got multiple inputs have more multiple uses. They can accept more microphones and a couple of instruments for performers at events. Makes your service more worthwhile. You could even charge a little extra for that if you wished. Makes your service more attractive to those that only have the 3 channels. No more channels than the 8 and 16, yet it's the Flagship. Another thing I don't get. Oh, I do get it. Bose want you to buy the T4 or the T8. That's right, they want to draw some more money out of you so you can do it that way. The T4, and then you're going to have to spend another 600. The T8, and that's another 900. That's nearly the price of a Pro 8. What's going on here? You've just spent 3 grand. Now you're going to spend another 900. Is the Pro32 that bad that you have to spend another 900? Again, clever marketing, great for the company's profits, but not for the consumer. The consumer paying up yet again, like you haven't spent enough money already. All these people that buy the Pro32, I'd love to know why they buy the T4 or the T8. Is it because the Pro32 is incomplete and it needs something else to sound right or to be right? And if that's the case, when you spent 3 grand on a PA and you need to spend even more to get it as you want it, or to get it exactly how you want it to sound, then you've bought the wrong PA. Another thing, talking about this, another thing I thought was cheap. When I tore it down and I just saw the 8s stuck together to make 32, I thought that was cheap. I want something different. This is 3,000. Bigger tweeters, better tweeters, something like that. It should have had higher performance tweeters that you don't find in the Pro 8 or the Pro 16, but just 4 sections of Pro 8s. Is that why it's the most advanced L1 over the Model 2? Because it's got more 8s screwed together? That is poor. You've got a column on the Flagship model, which is literally just 4 Pro 8s from the cheapest model, bolted together, all neatly hidden away in these taller grilled columns. That is cheap. Not 3 grand's worth. Most other PAs or column PAs, they have the controls to the top or to the rear, or the top to the rear. Same place where you find all the connections and inputs. The business end, the money end of your PA, where all the controls are and where all the inputs are, is on the floor. Anybody who owns this PA knows this. I have used this outdoors, indoors, wooden floors, carpeted floors, many hours on end. The amount of dust that you get, the amount of fluff, the amount of grit and dirt you get outside when you're performing is mad. This is the most vulnerable part of your PA, where everything is controlled by and where every input is going to be going. There's even water and light splashes on there that I've noticed, and I don't know where they've come from. Maybe someone come to the booth and they might have had a drink in their hand, who knows, to talk to me or to Socialize, make an announcement, ask for a request? I don't know. The bass gets filthy. This is a poor design, not practical. Doesn't make sense. Maybe that's why manufacturers of other PAs have them out of harm's way. If you think of the volume of events you're going to be doing, people are dancing near the booth. They're coming towards you. They're kicking up fluff. They're kicking up dust as they're dancing. All that is traveling and it's going over the top of this bass. One day, somebody's going to spill a drink over it. I hope not, but at events, people have drinks. They sometimes have too many, get unsteady on their feet. That just made me think, have you ever seen a dance floor after an event? The amount of muck that comes off of that. And your PA is going to be right by that because you might have your booth, your setup, your table right by the dance floor. I have to regularly clean the bass because it gets full of muck. And what I've noticed is that rim around the top edge, that doesn't do it any favors. It actually harbors dust or grit or dirt. Anything that falls onto the bass, it stays on the bass because it's got this edge, this rim around it to keep everything on top. What I've noticed with previous models like the L1, the power stand in particular, again, the controls are on the floor, but they're at the very extreme rear and they're sort of shielded by that lip above. And the bass towards the front is flat and anything that falls on it can easily roll off. Just like the Model 2 stand, if you look at those controls, they are at the direct rear, all clustered together and directly behind the column. So there's that little bit of protection and not so vulnerable, being all clustered together behind the column. This bass, everything is spread out, controls, dials and inputs over a much larger area, making them, I think, a bit more vulnerable. And as you can see, everything falls directly on top. There's no stopping it. I don't really want my brand new $3,000 PA bass to regularly be looking like this. Would you? If there's a build-up of muck in your connections, they're not going to work after a while. Or that will affect their performance. And maybe the dials. Main controls and inputs of a PA of this price directly on the floor is a recipe for an expensive disaster. The dials. Those little infinity dials where you can see all your selections, reverb, volume, bass, treble, all these lights going around the dial. Can you see them outdoors in bright sunshine if you're performing? I know you can see them in the app, but they happen to be around the dials, so you should be able to see them. That's why they light up. But in bright sunshine, don't think so. I know that Bose aren't the only manufacturers that are guilty of this, putting lights around dials and all these LEDs, but it's just a gimmick. I think with all the money spent on putting that in place, that could have been spent on putting in a fourth channel on this PA. The reason why I have two is I want to run stereo. I've always ran stereo. Before all these stick or column PAs came out, who was going out and buying one set of speakers? What DJ was turning up with one top and one sub? Or just one speaker? What's your backup going to be? Another reason why I run stereo. Should anything happen to one or part of your PA, you have another one. Seamless. No disturbance in music. Parties going on. What are you going to do? Stop the music for 10 minutes while you try and find out what the problem is? Are you going to stop the music for half an hour while you attach another speaker, what, an S1 or a 12-inch or something like that, and the whole vibe of the night's gone? No, you need to have the backup. Seamless. Most DJs were running two sets of speakers, either side, running stereo. Correct? It sounds better. The spaciousness of the sound, it absolutely engulfs the whole crowd. It's room filling. It's complete. You cannot beat stereo. Mono doesn't sound as good as stereo. We've moved on since then, decades ago. Even if you have 180 degrees coverage, it does not sound as good as stereo. It sounds flat. You don't get that holographic imaging. You don't get the sounds panning from left to right. And you just do not get the same listening experience if you want to fill that room. I'm not talking about blasting all your guests' ears to death. I'm just talking about filling it nice and correct and right. That's how I believe the sound should be set up at an event in a venue. It works, and it works well. Even when you've got that running outdoors, you cannot beat it. Stereo is the way. $3,000 is a crazy amount of money for a mobile DJ. 6 grand is a mad amount of money for a mobile DJ. Think what you could buy with 6 grand if you spent it just on audio. This stereo setup is not worth 6 grand. No way. Value for money. I don't have any PA that's perfect. I'd like to get that out there. But when you purchase a PA that's premium price and cost as much as this one does, your expectations are high, naturally. You expect the world, almost. I'd hate to say I'm paying for the Bose name. Something that's half the price could earn you the same money that this one can. So why should anybody spend on this? 3,000. Anybody else that owns one of these out there, tell me why it's worth 3 grand. Please tell me. I've looked, I've torn it down, and I can't see 3 grand's worth of PA. Where is 3 grand's worth of PA? Believe me, I cannot find it. I don't hear one that's worth 3,000 either. All I see is a 3-channel column mono PA. But I don't see one that's worth 3 grand. Where is it? I mean, this PA has no more channels than the Pro 8 or the Pro 16. I mean, Bose could have even given this 4 channels to set it apart from its siblings. But no, they want 3 grand for a 3-channel PA. We all know there's a couple of good PAs with 8-channel mixers on board. 8 channels. That is a game changer. And they're much cheaper than this. This PA is brand new. And they could have given you more channels, but they said, no, we don't want to give you that. So what are you giving me as a consumer? This might have 180 degrees coverage, but it is a mono PA. I was going to give this PRO32 or the Pro lineup some credit for having 180 degrees coverage. And then I realized that the Model 2 from 12, 14 years ago also has 180 degrees coverage. So what's advanced about this one? But you still can't charge 3 grand for that. Come on. All that coverage in mono. Would you be better off with 2 Pro 8s? You'd have 6 channels then and stereo. And it would still be cheaper than this. You can even buy a column mono PA that doubles up into a stereo PA. That's a game changer, and it's still cheaper than this. You've even got column PAs that have their own internal battery power, so they can be mains powered and battery powered, which is totally wireless. Game changer. So you don't have to drag around this big heavy power pack that you spent even more money on. Tell me why it's worth 3,000. Is it worth that much because you can say to people, can you see where my speakers are? Or is it because you can say to people, yes, all of that is coming from just that stick? Amazing, isn't it? It's not been made by any revolutionary materials, or it's not been designed by some fashion house and they've put their name on it, which will hike the price up, no doubt. None of that. Or is it because of that revolutionary racetrack driver? Don't even go there. Those oval-shaped drivers have been around since the 50s and 60s, so that's nothing new. Let's get that straight. Old news. I've got it. I think I've got it. Or is it because you can say to people, when someone comes up to you and say, what system do you have? Oh, I've got the Bose. It's the best. It's got crystal clear sound. Come on, how many of you said it? I know you're laughing. That is what you use. That is what you say. I know that's how it goes. Come on now, let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Lately, I've been purchasing very cheap PA equipment. Nobody likes that word cheap because it means unreliable, poor sounding, avoid, and waste of money. That's our problem. We judge cheap. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Well, I can prove you wrong. The same goes for extremely expensive PA equipment. Before we've even listened to it, used it, or tried it, we judge it as being the best. Same again, not always the case. The cheap equipment that I've been purchasing, I've been uploading reviews and tests on my channel. I bought a cheap portable column PA that's battery powered. I've given it to buskers and they've earned money. And they are still earning money using it. Bad weather, good weather, cold weather, the lot. I've given mixers to performers and they've used it, no problems. Even a dirt cheap microphone for karaoke. Nobody notices, everybody's happy, no complaints. The portable column PAs I've used for an event, and I've actually charged the same price that I normally charge. 2 15s that I purchased that are even cheaper. I used them for one event, and the money that I made from one event was 5 times the value or the cost of those speakers from just one event. Yes, just one single event. And that PA sounded great. And yes, I got a compliment, and to boot, I got a booking from that event. Win-win. I could literally put that PA in the bin or just leave it in the venue and go home. My profit's secure. I could actually purchase that again for another event. But no need to do that, because don't forget, when you buy something, you get a year's warranty. You get that 1 year's guarantee. So just like brand new, really expensive equipment, if it breaks down, you've got a guarantee. This is what I'm talking about. You don't need to buy blatantly overpriced sound equipment. This PA has a very high price, but it just doesn't have high spec. Stripping it back, this PA just has the basics, as well as all the gimmicky hype. Cricket drivers, racetrack drivers, unparalleled sound. While we're there, if it's the loudest PA ever, please could you tell me the peak output of the Evox 12, and please could you tell me the peak output of the ES1203 by DB. Please go on those websites and tell me what the peak output is. If the Bose is the loudest, what, you're going to pay $3,000 just for that? I'm not paying for a brand name, because a brand name does not get you business. Recommendation gets you business. Advertising gets you business. Word of mouth gets you business. A good reputation gets you business. In a word, summing it up, when it comes to good value for money, the Bose L1 Pro 32 at $3,000 isn't.